The arena was buzzing. It was one of those nights, not playoff, not finals, but the energy had weight. That electric tension that only comes when a young star is about to remind everyone why they bought a ticket. It was the early 2000s. LeBron James wasn't just entering the NBA, he was already elbowing his way into legend status. But this isn't a story about basketball highlights. This is a story about a moment before the game. A moment that perfectly sums up what it means to be famous, just not famous enough to be recognized by every human on Earth yet. The venue was packed. Kids wore number 23 jerseys, face paint, and carried homemade signs like King James Rules and We Love You, LeBron. Vendors were shouting. Cameras were snapping. You'd think the man couldn't walk 5 feet without being mobbed. And yet, as LeBron made his way to his usual courtside pregame spot, not a fan seat, not a spectator section, but his actual bench, a lone Usher stepped forward. She wasn't hostile. Just doing her job. Clipboard in hand, security badge clipped to her collar. Probably didn't even look up until the last second. And when she did, she saw a tall, muscular man in warm-ups, confidently settling into a courtside chair. No badge. No credential tag. No paper ticket. And that was enough. "Excuse me, sir. I'm going to have to ask to see your ticket." Now, pause for a second. LeBron is 6 feet 9 inches, wearing the team warm-up. His name is stitched on his gear. He's literally sitting among other players and coaches. The scoreboard probably has his name on it at that very moment. And yet here he is, being asked to justify why he's sitting where he's sitting. His reaction. Classic LeBron. No ego. No, do you know who I am? Meltdown. Just one of those, wait, is this real life? Chuckles. He looked at her, blinked slowly, and probably tilted his head like a confused golden retriever. But she didn't blink, didn't flinch. She was clearly serious. You could almost hear her internal monologue. "Look, I don't care if you're the Pope of Ohio. No badge, no seat." A teammate nudged him. The trainer tried not to laugh. Even a few fans nearby started murmuring. And finally, a staffer leaned over and quietly whispered into the usher's ear. Her eyes widened. Like saucers. She had just tried to relocate LeBron James, the face of the franchise, the reason there was even a game that night. Cue the immediate backpedal. She apologized, of course, probably mortified. Maybe even tried to laugh it off, saying, "Well, just making sure everyone's following the rules." Which, honestly, is a noble thing. But let's not pretend she didn't spend the rest of the game replaying that moment like a mental blooper reel. Now here's the wild part. This wasn't the last time something like this happened. You'd think this would be a one-off story. But nope. Over the years, LeBron's had a handful of moments where people didn't recognize him off the court, in restaurants, airports, even fan events. Because fame is weird. Sometimes, you're so famous that people think you can't possibly be you. You must be an impersonator, a look-alike, someone playing dress-up. There's no way the LeBron James is just standing here in front of me. And that's what makes this story iconic. Not just because it's funny, or absurd, or peak, you had one job energy, but because it reminds us of something deeper. Success doesn't exempt you from being underestimated. LeBron had already been on magazine covers, already had endorsement deals, already had shoe lines. But in that moment, none of that mattered. To that Usher, he was just another tall guy sitting somewhere he wasn't supposed to. And that's the part that hits different. Because in life, how many of us have been asked to prove we belong in a room we built? How many times have we been overlooked, even while wearing the uniform? You can have the skills, the receipts, the titles, but sometimes you'll still have to show your ticket. The difference is how you respond. LeBron didn't lash out, didn't go full diva. He smiled, laughed, and then walked onto that court and dropped a clinic. Because when you know who you are, you don't have to shout it. You just play your game. You just show up again and again, until the world has no choice but to recognize you. And guess what? That Usher never forgot him again. I guarantee you that. The next time she saw him, she probably saluted.